Okay, let's talk about it. We've avoided it long enough. Let's talk about the C word, that word that has caused so much grief and it shouldn't. The word that has galvanized a lot of people one against each other. Um, Christian. What should it mean to be a Christian? I mean, after all, this is a title that was laid onto the historical followers of Jesus Christ by a group of pagans in one of the most pagan places on the planet at that time, Antioch. You've been told that it means follower of Christ. It does, followers of a christened one or an anointed one, which could have been anyone during that time period. But nevertheless, that's not the topic of this video. Um, what we want to talk about is what should it mean to be a follower of the historical Jesus Christ? And the only way to do that is to go back and take a look at the relationship between Rabbi and his students. Rabbi and his students, the importance of that dynamic. A student in the first century during the time of the historical Jesus emulated his rabbi to a T, in so much that when the students were encountered out and about, no one had to guess who their teacher was, because in the way that they interpreted the Word of God, Torah, or the Bible, that spoke volumes and told the listener or the observer who their teacher was by the way that they lived, by the way that they conducted themselves. Okay, you get where I'm coming from here. Let's talk about two major contemporaries of the historical Jesus who lived during his time. One was Rabbi Hillel the Elder, and the other was Rabbi Shammai. Shammai was known for being very rigorous, very staunch when it came to Torah observance, and he did not take on converts. Sounds kind of familiar, right? You shut up the kingdom of heaven against men. You won't allow any other to go in, and you won't go in yourself. How about Rabbi Hillel the Elder? He was known for being more lenient, less rigorous, and he would take on students and or converts. As a matter of fact, I'll give you a couple of words from Hillel, and you'll see the parallels between him and the greatest rabbi of all time, which, of course, is Yeshua min Nazareth, or Jesus of Nazareth, as history calls him. Rabbi Hillel was known for saying this: be like the students of Aaron, Ohev Shalom ve'rodef Shalom. Love peace and doggedly pursue peace. Ohev habriot umekarvan leTorah. Love all of mankind and draw them to the Torah. Draw them to the Torah. One other thing that Hillel is known for, and we'll move on to Yeshua. A guy approached Hillel and said to him, teach me the whole Torah while I stand on one foot. Hillel says to him, that which is hateful to another man, or that which is hateful to yourself, don't do it to another man. Now go and study the Torah, because all of the rest is commentary. It's commentary. Hillel's house won the day and gave us who we call the Prushim, or the Pharisees. And of course, as you know, Yeshua had a lot of famous battles between the Pharisees, but it was, trust me, more of an in-family fight than it was anything else. Now to Yeshua. Yeshua was asked by one student, one man who wanted to follow him. He asked him, he says, Rabbi, ezohi mitzvah hagdola b'chol Torah? What is the greatest commandment in all of the Torah? And Yeshua answers, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel, Adonai our God is one and there is no other. And then he says, love the Most High with all your heart, mind, soul, strength, and resources. And then he says the second commandment is similar. Ve'ahavta et ra'ocha kemocha. Love your neighbor as yourself. Your brown neighbor, your yellow neighbor, your red-skinned neighbor, your black-hued skinned neighbor, your neighbor of another religion, your neighbor, period, your fellow man. He closes and says that al shtei hamitzvot ha'ele, on these two commandments hang talui et kol hanevi'im ve'et kol Torah. On these two commandments hang or depend the whole Torah and the prophets. Okay, like Jenga, if you pull loving God with all your heart, mind, and strength out, the thing falls apart. If you pull out loving your fellow human being as you love yourself, the whole thing falls apart. How sadly ironic today among some Orthodox in Israel that Jesus of Nazareth is known as Hatalui, the hanging one. It's sad and disrespectful, but this is the case. And again, that's not the topic of this video. What does it mean to be a follower of Yeshua? Well, you have to love one another based on the words of Yeshua. What does it mean to love one another? What example did he set? We have to look at John chapter 13, verse 35. And in that verse, Yeshua says this, Bazot yadu'u hakol. By this, everyone will know shetalmidayatem, that you all are my students. Im tihye ahava beinechem, if you dwell in love among each other. If you dwell in love among each other. What does love do? Love does not hurt. Love does not maim. Love does not belittle. Love is not racist. Love does not marginalize. Love does not denigrate. Love causes no harm. Love, oseh chaim, it perpetuates life. That's what love does. We care for each other. We look out for each other. We will feed the poor. We will look out for the needy. We'll look out for the fatherless child. We'll look out for the widow. We will look out for the most vulnerable in our society. These are the teachings, the not so popular teachings of Jesus Christ. What's more is the example he set is this. He changed into lower clothing, more servile clothing, and he began to wash the feet of his disciples, which is a huge gesture. The feet are considered the nastiest part of the body, especially during that day, because everyone traveled by foot. There was no trains, planes, and automobiles. They traveled by foot. This is why throwing your shoe at a person, as they did disrespectfully to the George W. Bush when they threw the shoe at him in the press conference, that was an old world sign of major disrespect. Yeshua washing the feet. Peter, there's always going to be one follower who's full of the most zeal, right? Who has all of the zeal and the fire. He says, you are my Lord and my Master. You can't wash my feet. Yeshua says to him, if I don't wash your feet, you have no part with me. Hey, Peter says, wash my feet, my head, just go nuts in that case. What's the lesson that we can get from this? Yeshua says, you called me Lord and Master, and you do well to call me that. But I'm setting the example because I'm washing your feet. So if I do it for you, how much more should you do it for your fellow man? Because the student is not greater than the teacher, and the one who is sent is not greater than the one who sent him. Okay? That's the lesson there. That's the lesson there. Esteem every man higher than yourself. You've heard in another part of the New Testament. Esteem every man higher than yourself. Love is humble. Love will cause you to lower yourself at the service of other people. That's what being a Christian should be. Finally, let's talk about performance lacking substance. Love does not deny. Peter had highs and he had lows. His high was walking on the water for a limited time. And his low was warming himself at the fire. And a person says, hey, I hear your accent. You speak a real slang Galilean Aramaic. You're definitely one of his students. No, not me. I'm not. I don't know the man. And the cock crows after he does this. The lesson here is sounding like the master, speaking like fellow believers, speaking platitudes. Christ is King, Jesus is Lord. As for me and my house, yada, yada, yada. Without substance is more destructive than it does any good. It does not perpetuate life. Sounding like and not having substance is awful. And I personally believe that that is what we're seeing today. This is why people have a problem with the C word, because everyone that has a cross around their neck and that are claiming to be followers of Jesus, are they really? Not based on my words, but on the words from the book and from history and what history says. And Jesus had an expectation that his students, his disciples, and his followers would be just that they would be emulators of him to a T, that the world would know that we don't have to have T-shirts on with pictures. No one walked around with pictures of Hillel and Shammai on their shirts. No one walked around advertising. It was known when you came into the room. It was known by how you treated each other. Misha yeshlo ozen yishama. He who has an ear, let him hear. Who do you truly follow?